we're gonna get the full fight, I would assume, starting out of Yoko in the next chapter. We know that she's going for the Fairy Tail main cast. She's got a lot on the line. It's not just that she's, oh, I'm gonna go fight these guys. She's got Celine's upset, like, riding on her back. So if she doesn't, like if she doesn't perform, I fully assume that Celine's gonna kill her. But with that, the question is how powerful Yoko is gonna be. And granted, like, she has to be like a pretty good level of strength outright just from being a member, like, directly under Celine in her group with the Moonlit Beauty Gods, as well as the fact that she was able to take down Urza and Wendy. Though that was kind of a different scenario, though, because obviously, like, it would just depend on, like, her specific ability at being a Hax, rather than, like, she just knocked them down or overpowered them or something, or just beat them in like, sheer skill or just general fighting prowess. Like, she just made a bunch of yokai, and just sent them all in, and, like, the smoke one was able to pretty much just choke them out and get them unconscious. Because obviously, regardless of power level, you still have to breathe, so unless you're a character that can hold your breath for an absurdly long time, or blow the smoke away, because for Wendy's problem, it was the fact that, like, smoke is bad for her as a Sky Dragon Slayer, so, like, bad air and bad wind, and, like, well, not bad wind, but bad air, essentially, smoke is just bad for her in general. But Yoko has a lot of potential on just from, like, what we know about her so far. Like, obviously, she's got all her yokai and stuff, and they seem to be very powerful. I want to know what her strongest yokai is, but the big thing that I want to just look at in general about Yoko is the fact that when Wendy ended up undoing the yokai, ability that was put on them, she used her raise ability and not the separation enchantment. I assumed it was the separation enchantment was going to be what was needed. I assumed that, like, Yoko summoned a yokai, and then either her or Celine merged it into them. So I was like, oh, she has a separation enchantment, she'll just separate the yokai from them. But no, she just used Raise, which cures status effects and stuff. So it's more than likely, like, a type of buff. I think. I like, the way that I envision it is similar to, like, how Lucy does her Star Dress. How she's drawing their power and merging it. Like, she's pretty much just using her own body to funnel their power through. Like, pretty much. So, if Yoko could do the same thing, but with her yokai, and I'm guessing with her name, she can probably, like, if she can do that, I bet she can merge with, like, all of them and become some, like, big, horrific monster, and then fight against these guys. Because, like, so far, like, Hakune definitely has her first display living up to the level of threat that she should be. Like, we don't really have much about any of the three Moonlit Beauty Gods. We don't even know if there's only three. Maybe there's more. I'm hoping there's more. If there's only three, man, I'll be so bummed out just from the fact I'm hoping Selena is more like OP freaking chicks at her disposal to unleash upon people. I'm hoping for, like, maybe, like, one or two more. I'd be perfectly fine with one more. Maybe get, like, some secret boss, like a Blue Note type thing, where she's got some woman who's just really uncontrollable and really reckless or something. But especially because I personally think that Diablos and Fairy Tail are going to team up, but that's a story for another video. With Hakune, like, she has her hack sights just right off the bat. Like, she's able to prevent you from using magic, curses, or spiritual arts the second it gets on you. Very hacks. And that's not even, like, her saying, like, oh, this is my ultimate technique. That just seemed to be, like, a move she used. Very dangerous. Mimi, though, is the lowest on that totem pole so far, but I mean, that's so far, we haven't seen them all. Just from her showing so far physical strength, but, like, it could be something greater than that, just the way that we see it without proper explanation. Just looks like physical strength. And then Yoko, like, she's got her yokai, and just summoning them, I don't think will be enough, because when it came to her fight, like, earlier with Natsu, with Urza and Wendy, she had the surprise factor. Spiritual arts, they didn't know about it yet. Like, if they didn't have the whole yokai bit prior to this, and Yoko ended up merging somebody with one of her yokai, like, mid-fight, that would be like, oh shit, like, this makes for a threat right off the bat. That's a good hack, so obviously it would turn your enemy, or your allies, into enemies, as well as it makes them stronger in the process. But, like, Wendy can just raise and fix it. So, like, she already has that trump card ready. And the fact that it's raised and not the separation enchantment means that, like, it's not going to take a lot of strain out of her. So, that, like, taking that away from Yoko, and then the fact she's not just against Urza and Wendy, she's also up against Lucy, she's up against Gray, and she's up against Natsu. Like, she's up against three big, well, Lucy's strong, but I wouldn't consider her, like, big in comparison to, like, Natsu and Gray. Like, if you were comparing the big people, obviously, in the main group, you're going to go Natsu, Gray, Urza. Wendy and Lucy are still stronger than most wizards in the world. But obviously, like, they're not as heavy fight prowess as, like, the other three. But, like, Wendy, with her huge amount of support, as well as she, like, it's not like she's a frail support. She can completely fend for herself and defend herself. And then you have Lucy, who's got a big myriad of abilities that she can use. So, Yoko is, like, a big question for me right now. And I want to know exactly how powerful she's going to be, like, actually putting in the effort. Because she was playful last time. And I'm hoping that we can see just generally, like, descriptions of what each of her yokai do. Because my guess is that each of them are, like, one-trick ponies for the most part. Each one with, like, one ability she kind of disperses and uses. But they also don't seem intelligent the same way that, like, Lucy's spirits are. It's also possibly, like, a way that it's done. Because we don't know enough about spiritual arts, especially a very specific spiritual art like Yoko's yokai ability. But it's got to be really good, like, because I don't expect her to push all the main cast members to use, like, their big abilities. I don't expect Natsu to go Dragon Force. I don't expect Gray to even... I expect Gray to use his Devil, like, maybe use his Devil Slayer form, just because, like, he doesn't have anything too high, like, above that, like, in comparison to, like, Dragon Force. Like if Natsu went Fire Dragon King mode, I could kind of see that. Or, like, I don't see Urza breaking out her, like, her knock... Maybe, well, no, because she wouldn't need her Nakagami armor. I don't think she'd pull out, like, the two dual blades or, like, her Belsarian sword. As well as, like, I don't think Lucy or Wendy would need anything, like, from Irene. She doesn't need Irene's help, and it's, like, her Dragon Force should be enough. Like, hers is not as, like, heavy draining as Natsu's, so I could see her using it. As well as it's not nearly as much of a giant spike in terms of, like, where she's at in comparison to prior. Like, Wendy Dragon Force is still, it's still the considerable jump, but it's not as massive as, like, when Natsu goes into Dragon Force. But, I mean, that could have changed in the last year. She could maybe have gotten to that, like, way more pure kind of crazy jump that, like, Natsu was able to have when he goes into Dragon Force. But, either way, Yoko has, like, a lot of just general, like, she has, a good amount of expectations upon her. And I don't expect her to be amazing. I don't expect her to be some 10 out of 10 bad guy opponent. I expect her to put up a good show. And if she loses, I'm really well, I assume she's going to lose. She's up against a lot of opponents right now. A lot of dangerous opponents. When she loses, I'm hoping that we get, like, a good moment from Celine. Maybe Celine just says, alright, I'm done with you. You're of no use to me. Tries to execute her and then, like, goes to look for more Moonlit Beauty Gods to take her place. Who knows? Like, that's obviously, like, going to be, like, a couple chapters away. I don't expect her to be down in the next chapter. Like, 2 to 3 chapters is when I expect her to be defeated. Like, fully done and out. Like, 2, maybe 3 is, like, a big hope. Because I am hoping that Yoko puts up some work and we get to see some cool stuff from her. I'm just hoping that she puts up a good enough fight that we can say, like, yeah, she was pretty powerful. She's a memorable character. Because I like her so far. I think she's had some entertaining scenes. I think her power is pretty cool. I like her design. I like her weird cat mouth that she's doing. But I got a lot of general weight and hopes that she is going to be able to perform. I don't need her to be amazing. I just need her to live up to a fair opponent. Because like I said, she's up, like, if it was up against any of them 1v1, I would want a lot more from her, but she's up against 5 people, all that work really well together and know all each other's moves for the most part, in and out, and know how to combo off of each other's moves. Like, she's going to be in a rough spot. Unless she performs way higher than I would have thought, then I'm just hoping that she does a good job. I'm only expecting a good job. Anyway, other than that, though, thumbs up the video. Tell me what your opinions are about this, because, like, I'm hoping Yoko is strong, but I don't see her being, like, a huge threat to the main team, unless, like, she gets buffed by Celine, or there's something, like, she breaks out some taboo that, like, makes her way more powerful than usual. Like I said, if she emerges with all of her yokai, and it's like, I become 100 times stronger, but at the cost of, like, I can't undo this or something. Maybe you can have Wendy end up, like, separation enchanting, and then separating them, and then maybe build like a good moment off of that. I actually like that idea now that I think about it, because it would help her maybe get a little more humanized towards the cast. Because if she's from Elendil, I'm guessing she's, you know, well, she's in Elendil, or rather, I'd say, I'm guessing she's born and from here, so she probably doesn't want her realm to be destroyed by Selene. So I would imagine that for many of them, because otherwise, like, are they going to be dragons? Are they going to be things created by Selene? Who knows? Either way, comment below. Tell me your opinions on like, how you think Yoko is going to perform. I'm just hoping she does a good job. Anyway, other than that, don't comment below. If this video, friend, like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. Other than that, thanks everyone who's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.